Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to my kitchen. Actually, I'm kind of sitting between the dining room area and the kitchen. You can tell by my built-ins that I have right here where I keep all my teapots and all that kind of stuff. Well, a few days ago, I was gifted a few cooking appliances. One of them, which is this pressure cooker. It's kind of like the Instapot, but it's not really the Instapot. But it's a good enough knockoff that it works for me. But I had never used an appliance like this before, so it's like, I really wanted to try this out. So, what I did, I decided I was going to make something that I knew it would have to really stand up to the test. I don't know if you know a whole lot about pressure cookers, but they take something that normally might take forever to get done, and they do it in a lot quicker time. I mean, granted, I could have used a crock pot to do some dry beans, but I thought, I'm feeling a little bit like having some chili today. This baby can do in an hour, or supposed to be able to do in an hour, what the crock pot can do, but it takes all night. Crock pot, also known as the slow cooker, is called that because it cooks very slow. You put your stuff in there, you set it either to the low or the high setting. On the low setting, it takes all night or all day to get done whatever it is you're trying to prepare. On the high setting, it still may take you like 3 or 4 hours. And don't get me wrong, I love my crock pot. But this baby speeds stuff up. And I wanted to give it a try. You know, I've seen all those cute little infomercials where the people are like, yay, this is wonderful. But okay. Really? Or is it just a show? So, thought I'd give this baby a try. And I did. And today, I figured, oh, okay, I'll make some chili. Not with canned beans. Rock hard dry beans from the cupboard. You know, all my little prep steader supplies. I took 1 cup of beans because I really didn't want to mess up a whole lot. And it's just me. I don't need to cook a whole lot. I just need to cook enough for me. Maybe like today. Maybe I might have some tomorrow. 1 cup of beans. And then I put it in there. 2 cups of water. Added that in there. Then I don't know if you saw the video a few weeks ago where I did the tomatoes. I had those 2 square bins of cherry tomatoes, and then I had a bag of Roma tomatoes in the refrigerator that my neighbor downstairs gave me. And I took those and I had blended them because I didn't really want them to go to waste. I can't stand for food to be wasted. And I put them in this mason jar. This equals 4 cups of tomatoes that were blended. When they were blended, you know, I cooked them down nice and soft, put them in the blender, blended it so that it was just as smooth as having a V8. Put them in there, sealed it. But I decided if I'm going to make chili, I might as well go on ahead and use this. Because I gotta have me some tomatoey stuff in there. And I don't want to deal with the dehydrated tomatoes because I'd rather save that for a day when I do some pizza or something to make like a sun-dried type tomato on the top of the pizza. So, poured the 4 cups of that, had 2 cups of water, the 1 cup of the dried beans, put them in there, and then I took a 1/4 cup of this. You know what this is? Dehydrated onion. You remember back in the spring, or if you haven't been with me that long, check my spring videos from this year. Someone gave me a sack full of stinky old onions. Now, don't get me wrong, because I like my onions, I like my flavor. Took those onions, cut them up, put them on the food dehydrator, dried them out, packaged up so many onions. I have enough onions to take me through December of this year. So I took a 4th cup of this, tossed it in there. Close this baby up, and I'll show you up close. I went down here to, there's lots of different buttons to push. I went to the chili button, pushed that, set the timer for an hour. Made sure that the pressure cooker part, the pressure part is open, because when the pressure builds up, it's got to come out somewhere. So that should be nice and wobbly in the back. Let it do its thing. Right now, it's just keeping warm in there as it is. After an hour, I waited till, it beeped, cut off, let the rest of the pressure come out, and then it shut down, and it was ready for me to open it. Opening it, I wanted to check my beans and stuff to see how it was looking. Come on up close so you can get a look on the inside. See that? Looking decent. And no, I didn't add meat at the time when I was preparing all of that. Because I had decided, after I started cooking the beans and stuff, it's like, man, I don't have no ground beef or nothing to put up in there. But, do I really need that? I can get my protein in many ways. And one of the ways I can get it is TVP, which I talked about in some of my videos from last fall. TVP, texturized vegetable protein. It's a soy-based product, which is okay if you're not allergic to soy. And it's good for women as far as stopping hot flashes and all that kind of stuff. I'm not speaking as a medical doctor because I'm not a medical doctor. I'm only speaking from my experience. It's really affordable to buy at like the global market or a culturally based store that sells food items that may come from Mexico or places like that. It costs about $3 or $4, and you get a substantial amount that lasts a long time, and it doesn't really go bad. You'll have it for quite a while. That, I took a cup of the TVP, put it in this cup, added 2 cups worth of water, let it set and soak, a few sprinkles of soul food seasoning in there, and I did a little bit of steak seasoning on top of that, which has some salt, some pepper, and some other flavors, nice herbs and spices in there. And let it just set in room temperature water. It doesn't need to be hot water, it doesn't need to be cold water. I'm going to put a little bit of crushed red pepper in here now. A few shakes, because I like the spice. And some cayenne pepper. Not doing too much. I'm not going overboard with it, as you can see. Just enough to give it a little bit of a spice. Make sure it tastes good. That is good. But I will show you that, like, the TVP and the beans. TVP is soft, just like hamburger. Takes on the flavor of what you put with it. That's why you have to be really focused on what you want to put with it. If you want it to taste more like chicken, you can use a chicken base or chicken bouillon. When it tastes more like beef, use a beef base or beef bouillon. And the beans, nice and soft. You don't want your beans crunchy or al dente or whatever. You want them soft. You want it soft but firm. Still holding together but nice and soft. You want the spices and everything to mix together so that everything is wonderfully delicious. Now I've got this, it's already done, which is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. I can turn that off. it was quick and easy. I can heat it up, and when I heat it back up, the TVP will blend more with the flavors and the peppers and the tomato and everything and the onion, and it'll make it really good. I did also put a half a tablespoon of the sriracha sauce in there because, like I said, I like it a little bit on the spicy side. I like my flavor with my food, but this was a simple thing to do. And just think, put this lid back on there. This only took an hour. Whereas using the crock pot, it would have been all day or all night. Now, of course, I love the fragrance that comes with the all day or all night cooking. It's like the difference between using a Keurig and using a percolator. The old school percolator, when you're making that coffee and the coffee is going up into the little top. Let me show you what I mean. If you're using the old school percolator and that water is boiling, you got your tea, your coffee grounds and everything in there, and the water is going up into this top, you can smell that coffee coming out of the spout. It's awesome. With the Keurig, you're just heating the water. When it's ready, you pop it in a pod, whether if it's a reusable one or one that you buy in the store, and the water is running through, and boom, you have coffee in the cup, kind of like you're watching the Jetsons cartoon. And yes, you can still drink it, but there's a difference in the taste from one to the other. And the fact that using the percolator, I can enjoy that aroma, which really does something for me. As opposed to using the quick fix, the Keurig. You get what you need pretty quick, and if you have a bunch of people that have different desires, some might want coffee, some might want tea or chocolate or whatever, you can do that all easily that way and not have a whole lot of mess to clean up afterwards. But it's like, which thing are you preferring at the time? I enjoy the crock pot, especially if I just want to set it and get everything together and forget about it, let it do its thing overnight, and the next day it's like wonderful. Or if I'm expecting guests over, I can throw a chicken in that thing and the potatoes and everything else, pork chops, whatever you want, and it'll all cook together overnight, and everything will smell like the holidays. To me, the holidays have a smell. The smell of a home-cooked meal. The smell of, all the herbs and the spices and the meat and everything. This, when it's cooking fast. Has a little bit of a smell, but it's not like using the crock pot. So which one do I prefer? I couldn't even tell you. I like them both. But for an afternoon thing of, I feel like having some chili, and I'm not going to be going out to fast food place to pay for the chili. I'm going to use my supplies that I have here that I so dutifully prepared for in times when I'm not able to get out somewhere. Bam. That's it right there. That's the ticket. It does it. You just have to have a space for it. It does it quick and easy. Get everything together. Bam, bam, bam. From the dry beans. If I was using the crock pot, which I love the aromas and everything that come with cooking on the crock pot, it would still be cooking until tomorrow morning, probably, for the beans to have the kind of consistency that they have in this electric pressure cooker. And then there are some people who have the pressure cookers that you put on the stove, the old school pressure cookers, where you put the big pot and then you have the other part in there and then you put the lid on it and you clamp it down and they boil everything, dried beans and everything. I've got friends that do that for hours. It still takes longer than this. This only took 1 hour. As opposed to doing a pressure cooker on the stove, which might take about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the amount of the beans and stuff. And you don't want to do this whole thing unless you are having a big party, because the beans will swell in there, and you don't want to make so much that you can't even eat it all, because who wants to waste food? There are too many people in too many countries and nations around the world who don't have enough food to eat. There are people in my own community that may be struggling with food. And because of the civil unrest and all the stuff that's gone on here in Minneapolis this year, I like to be prepared and make sure I have a little bit of something set back. It doesn't mean that my entire house is full of toilet paper or dried beans, but take care of yourself and make sure that you're prepared for whatever may be coming up. Because we've had civil unrest, we've had pandemic this year. We don't know when the next shoe is going to drop. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just saying be prepared for your own stuff, for whatever may come up. But I just wanted to take a moment to just tell you about this little neat gadget that I did get this week. And so I'm going to call this chili Old Ben's chili, because the person that I got the appliance from, his name was Ben. So I'm going to enjoy me some of this Old Ben's chili, and I will look forward to talking to you soon. And next time, we might be doing some things with some of the other appliances that I got from him, such as like the Ninja or something else. So I hope you're having a great day and a great weekend. Take care of yourself, and to remember, even though times are hard right